In this video, as well as experiencing how quickly it's possible to learn Spanish, you're also going to find it one of the most useful Spanish lessons that you'll ever do, because you'll come away being able to speak in the present, in the past, and in the future, both asking and answering questions, and that's even if you're a complete beginner. Okay, so straight to it. Our more advanced subscribers may want to skip forward to the time frame that comes up on the screen now, or of course you can stay with us for some extra practice. We're going to begin with some quite straightforward verbs, okay, so doing words, and as I always say, don't try to retain this. You don't need to memorize. Just follow my instructions and go with the flow of the lesson, and you'll see how easy it is. Our first verb is quedar. Quedar is to meet up. Quedar, meet up. So we could meet up with somebody. Quedar. Next one is quite easy to remember. It's estudiar. Estudiar is to study. We could have estudiar español, to study Spanish. Our next one is hablar español. Hablar español. So hablar, blah, blah, to speak Spanish. Hablar español. The next one is also quite easy to remember. Terminar el proyecto. Terminar el proyecto. Terminar is a bit like terminate. In Spanish, it's to finish the project. Terminar el proyecto. Next we have volver a casa. Volver a casa is to return home, to come back home or to go back home. So the idea of return, to come back, to go back. And you can see in volver, if you look at volver, think of, just put a re in front of it, and revolve. So revolve is coming back. So that's a way of helping you remember that volver is to come back or to return. A casa, to house, home. So volver a casa, to come back home. Volver a Madrid is to return, to go back, to come back to Madrid. Volver a Madrid. Then we have ir a la playa. Ir a la playa is to go to the beach. Ir a la playa, to go to the beach. And another to go. Ir a la tienda. Ir a la tienda, to go to the shop. And finally, hacer algo, to do something. Hacer algo, to do something. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you some questions about this and just use what you've got in front of you to answer. So it's just a way of becoming more familiar with what we have. Can you find the word for to speak? Hablar. You can see where it's hablar español. It's to speak Spanish. Can you see what the word is for return or to go back? Volver. Volver. To return or to go back, like to revolve. What was it for to meet up? To meet up is quedar. Quedar. To meet up. And finally, can you see the word that means something? Something. Algo. Algo. And we used it with hacer algo, to do something. Okay, now we're going to add the part that's going to give us our present. And first up, we're going to see how to say I want, but then a question, you want or do you want. So we'll be able to say I want this, do you want this? And it's quiero and quieres. Quiero, quieres. So quiero is I want, and quieres is you want or do you want. So, we could say, quiero quedar. I want to meet up. Or what about if I asked the question, ¿Quieres estudiar? What would that mean? ¿Quieres estudiar? Do you want to study? So, quiero, quieres. And again, don't try to retain all this. Just go with the flow. Next, we're going to see how to say I have to, and also you have to, or if it was a question, do you have to? So I, you, I have to, and you have to. And we have tengo que, I have to, you have to, tienes que. And obviously that could be do you have to. So tengo que, tienes que, I have to, you have to. How would you say, you have to speak Spanish? What would that be? You have to speak Spanish. Tienes que hablar español. Tienes que hablar español. Okay, let's go on to I like and you like, or it could be do you like if it's a question. I like, you like. Me gusta, te gusta. Me gusta, te gusta. So I like me gusta, you like, or the question, do you like, te gusta. I might say, me gusta estudiar. I like to study, or I like studying. And the next one is I can and you can. And both of those can be questions as well. So it could be, instead of I can, it could be can I? Instead of you can, it would be can you? Because in Spanish, the statement and the question is the same. We change our voice slightly, the intonation. So I can is puedo, and can I is the same, puedo. You can is puedes. So puedo, puedes. Puedo, puedes. I can, you can. Or can I, or can you. So we could say, puedo terminar el proyecto. I can finish the project. Or I could ask the question, can I? ¿Puedo terminar el proyecto? Can I finish the project? Okay, before we go any further, I want you just to listen to what I say and see if you can look at the table and work out what the phrase is or what the question is. Okay, so the first one is Tengo que volver a casa. Tengo que volver a casa. What does that mean? I have to return home, or I have to go back home. How about this one? Quiero hablar español. Quiero hablar español. I want to speak Spanish. What about this question? ¿Puedes quedar? ¿Puedes quedar? Can you meet up? ¿Puedes quedar? Can you meet up? Okay, we're just going to add in our final few words to give this a bit more versatility. And we're going to start by putting it in with me and with you. With me, with you. Conmigo, with me. Contigo, with you. So conmigo, contigo. Conmigo, contigo. With me, with you. Nice and easy. And as we're saying with, let's have con Pablo. With Pablo. So we've got conmigo, contigo, con Pablo. With me, with you, with Pablo. And we'll have a nice easy one as well. Pronto. Pronto, like pronto. Pronto is soon. Can also be used for early. We'll mainly use it for soon here. Pronto, soon. And finally, mañana is also easy to remember. Mañana, tomorrow. Mañana. Now in this next part, we're just going to slowly build up our sentences. So first of all, let's start off with I like. Find that. I like. Me gusta. I like to speak Spanish. So say the whole phrase so far. I like to speak Spanish. Me gusta hablar español. Me gusta hablar español. Okay, now we'll build up further. I like to speak Spanish with you. We might say I like speaking Spanish with you, but I like speaking Spanish, or I like to speak Spanish with you. What would that be? Me gusta hablar español contigo. Me gusta hablar español contigo. And I should have mentioned it earlier, but make sure that you pause the video to give yourself some thinking time, assuming you need it, before you hear the answers from me. Okay, let's try this one. Do you want? ¿Quieres? Do you want to meet up? ¿Quieres quedar? Do you want to meet up with me? ¿Quieres quedar conmigo? And again. ¿Quieres quedar conmigo? Let's try this one. Can you? ¿Puedes? Can you come back home, return home? ¿Puedes volver a casa? Can you come back home soon? ¿Puedes volver a casa pronto? And again. ¿Puedes volver a casa pronto? And we'll just take a pause there while I mention our very popular Levels 1 to 6 course. This takes the complete beginner or a near beginner right up to a conversational level of Spanish in a series of very easy to follow steps. All the lessons on this YouTube channel are supplementary, whereas the core Levels 1 to 6 is very much a step-by-step program delivered by the same teacher as all the other videos on the ProSpanish YouTube channel. And while the style is very similar to what you'll be used to from these videos on the channel, the key difference is that every lesson carefully builds on the previous lessons so that you can really feel that progress of going from very little or no Spanish up to a level where you can confidently hold a conversation in Spanish. So again, that's available exclusively from prospanish.co.uk. Now I'm going to show you how we can use all this in the future. So we're going to keep most of it the same, but we're going to change our first column. And we're going to start by adding I'm going to and you're going to, or are you going to. Voy a and vas a. So I'm going to, voy a. You're going to, or are you going to, vas a. And next we'll learn an expression which is to say I'm planning to do this. Or the question, are you planning to do this? So I'm planning to do it. You're planning to do it. Or are you planning to do it? And it's pienso and piensas. Pienso and piensas. Now actually, pienso is I think. And piensas is you think. So it's I think to speak Spanish. But actually the translation is I'm planning to speak Spanish. But it uses I think. So pienso, piensas. For example, if I said pienso estudiar mañana, what would that mean? Pienso estudiar mañana. I'm planning to study tomorrow. It might be the question. ¿Piensas hablar español conmigo? Are you planning to speak Spanish with me or to me? ¿Piensas hablar español conmigo? And then we'll have I would like and you would like or would you like. And if you can remember I like, then that will be a help. Because I would like is me gustaría, and would you like, or you would like, te gustaría, me gustaría, te gustaría. Okay, so don't worry if you're feeling overloaded. I am squeezing a lot in just to illustrate and to get you speaking as much as quickly as possible. Obviously in the main course there's a slightly different pace to this. Okay, so what does this mean? So follow across and see if you can work out the meaning. Voy a volver a Madrid mañana. Voy a volver a Madrid mañana. What does that mean? I'm going to return to Madrid or to go back to Madrid tomorrow. How about this one? ¿Te gustaría ir a la playa conmigo? ¿Te gustaría ir a la playa conmigo? Would you like to go to the beach with me? And how about pienso volver a casa pronto. Pienso volver a casa pronto. I'm planning to return home soon. And how about me gustaría hacer algo contigo. Me gustaría hacer algo contigo. I'd like to do something with you. I'd like to do something with you. Okay, and this time we're not going to build up because we had quite a lot of practice of that last time. What you're going to do is directly try to make sentences in Spanish going across. So, how would you say, I'm going to finish the project soon? Voy a terminar el proyecto pronto. Voy a terminar el proyecto pronto. Don't forget to pause the video to give yourself thinking time. And let's have the question now. Are you going to? How would you ask the question? Are you going to meet up with Pablo? ¿Vas a quedar con Pablo? ¿Vas a quedar con Pablo? And how would you say, I'd like to do something tomorrow. Me gustaría hacer algo mañana. Me gustaría hacer algo mañana. How about the question? Would you like to speak Spanish with me? ¿Te gustaría hablar español conmigo? ¿Te gustaría hablar español conmigo? How about, I'm planning to go back to Madrid soon. Pienso volver a Madrid pronto. Pienso volver a Madrid pronto. Okay, we're going to move straight on to the past now. And you can probably see already just how quickly you can learn with this approach. So if we're just taking, for example, the middle column, we can expand out so quickly. So we have estudiar, to study. We can have estudiar español. We could say, I'm going to study Spanish. Voy a estudiar español. We've got ir a la playa, to go to the beach. We could have ir a la discoteca, to go to the club. ¿Quieres ir a la discoteca conmigo? Do you want to go to the club with me? For example. And we can just, there are lots of really easy to learn verbs as well. Practicar, to practice. We could have, I have to practice. Tengo que practicar. It might be, I'd like to practice with you. Me gustaría practicar contigo. So our language ends up ballooning out, but without having to study complex or abstract grammar. Okay, so on to the past. So we're going to start off with I have just. It's a way of saying I have just done something. And again, we don't need to change any tenses here. So we're going to say acabo de and acabas de. So I have just done and you have just done, or have you just done? So acabo de and acabas de. So we could say acabo de quedar con Pablo. I've just met up with Pablo. Or it might be, ¿acabas de hablar español? Have you just spoken Spanish? Okay, next we're going to have I wanted and you wanted, or did you want? Quise and quisiste. Quise, quisiste. So I wanted to go back home, to return home. Quise volver a casa. Did you want to do something? ¿Quisiste hacer algo? Next we've got I was able to, or you were able to, or were you able to, the question. And we could have also here could, I could, because I could is also I was able to. And of course, pudiste, you were able to, or you could, or the question, could you? And finally, I was going to, and you were going to, or the question, were you going to? So, iba a and ibas a. Iba a and ibas a. I was going to and you were going to. So just have a listen and see if you can work out what's being said. Acabo de estudiar con Pablo. Acabo de estudiar con Pablo. I've just studied with Pablo. How about acabas de terminar el proyecto? So just 2 columns this time. Acabas de terminar el proyecto? Have you just finished the project? Or you have just finished the project, but it's a question. How about this next one? ¿Pudiste hacer algo con Pablo? ¿Pudiste hacer algo con Pablo? Were you able to do something with Pablo? What about this? Iba a ir a la tienda mañana. Iba a ir a la tienda mañana. I was going to go to the shop tomorrow. I was going to go to the shop tomorrow. Okay, you try now. How would you say, I've just met up with Pablo? Acabo de quedar con Pablo. Acabo de quedar con Pablo. How about, I wanted to do something with you. Quise hacer algo contigo. Quise hacer algo contigo. Now if I said, pude terminar el proyecto, that would mean, of course, I was able to finish the project. But what would it mean if I said, no pude terminar el proyecto? It would mean I couldn't, I wasn't able to finish the project. And we can add no to every single one of the structures from the past, present and future that we've just studied to make it a negative. So, no quise, I didn't want. No iba a, I wasn't going to. No voy a, I'm not going to. No pienso, I'm not planning to, whatever. And on it goes. So how would we say, I wasn't going to study Spanish? No iba a estudiar español. No iba a estudiar español. How about, I wasn't able to return home with Pablo. I wasn't able to go back home with Pablo. No pude volver a casa con Pablo. No pude volver a casa con Pablo. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're just going to put the present, the future, and the past onto one page, one slide. And we're going to see what verbs we can remember to use with these. So, how would you say, so I'm going to pick from any of them, it could be from either of these three groups. How would you say, I'm planning to speak Spanish tomorrow? What would that be? I'm planning to speak Spanish tomorrow. Try that. Pienso hablar español mañana. Pienso hablar español mañana. How about this one? I want to go to the shop soon. Quiero ir a la tienda pronto. Quiero ir a la tienda pronto. Let's try another one. I was going to finish the project tomorrow. Iba a terminar el proyecto mañana. Iba a terminar el proyecto mañana. Okay, let's try this one. Let's try a can I. Can I meet up with you tomorrow? ¿Puedo quedar contigo mañana? ¿Puedo quedar contigo mañana? How about a question, would you like? Would you like to go to the beach with me? ¿Te gustaría ir a la playa conmigo? ¿Te gustaría ir a la playa conmigo? And that brings to an end this part of the video. You should be really encouraged by just how much you've learnt, and obviously you can see how quickly you can get to a conversation level of Spanish. So again, a reminder, as mentioned earlier, the full levels 1 to 6 course is available exclusively from ProSpanish, and look out for a video coming up before the new year, which will give you a day-by-day plan to reach conversational fluency in 2023. Okay, let's go over to our more advanced subscribers. Vale, vamos a utilizar ahora una mezcla de español e inglés para ayudar a todos, y vamos a usar la mayoría de lenguaje que ya hemos visto en este vídeo. So we're going to reuse a lot of, most of the vocabulary that was seen earlier in this video. Entonces, quedar, estudiar, hablar español, terminar el proyecto, etc. Todo como antes, y también conmigo, contigo, con Pablo, pronto, mañana. Todo eso igual. Pero la diferencia, pues vamos a empezar con estructuras que requieren el subjuntivo, pero lo vamos a hacer de una forma que podamos seguir con estos infinitivos. So, we're going to use the language that we've already seen in this video, but we're going to add in something so that we can use it with the subjunctive. So it's going to be a neat way to use the subjunctive without having to do lots of subjunctive conjugations. So let's start with no creo que. I don't think that. I don't believe that. Always a trigger for the subjunctive. Dudo que. Dudo, I doubt. Dudo que, I doubt that. También siempre va con el subjuntivo. I doubt that plus subjunctive. Después tenemos unas frases impersonales. So some impersonal phrases, as they're called, and these are also followed by the subjunctive. So we'll just have es imposible que. It's impossible that, but we could easily say it's possible that. También es genial que. It's great that. But we could have dozens of other impersonal phrases here. It's good that. It's bad that. It's useful that. It's a shame that. In fact, let's put it's a shame that. Es una pena que. Es una pena que. It's a shame that. And now we'll have our little trick that allows us to later on use the infinitives. Vaya a. Vaya a is going to. So I don't think he's going to, she's going to, or I'm going to. So in the subjunctive form, the I, the he and the she, so the third person and the first person is the same. So vaya a. So if we say no creo que vaya a, I don't think he's going to, I don't think she's going to, I don't think I'm going to. Next one, pueda. Pueda from can. So dudo que pueda. I doubt I can, I doubt she can, and I doubt he can, or I doubt it can. And finally, quiera. Quiera from querer, wants. So it's the subjunctive form. So it is es imposible que quiera. It's impossible that she wants. It's impossible that he wants. It's impossible that I want. So our trick is to have subjunctive triggers followed by a subjunctive which can then be followed by infinitives. Entonces, escucha ahora y a ver lo que digo en español. Es genial que pueda ir a la playa contigo. Es genial que pueda ir a la playa contigo. It's great that he can, she can, I can, we don't know which from the context, can go to the beach with you. No creo que vaya a terminar el proyecto mañana. No creo que vaya a terminar el proyecto mañana. I don't think she's going to finish the project tomorrow, but it could also be he or I, of course. Bien, ¿cómo se dice en español? I doubt that he wants to go back home with you. Dudo que quiera volver a casa contigo. Dudo que quiera volver a casa contigo. It's a pity that he's going back home tomorrow. Es una pena que vaya a volver a casa mañana. Es una pena que vaya a volver a casa mañana. It's impossible that he can finish the project tomorrow. Es imposible que pueda terminar el proyecto mañana. Es imposible que pueda terminar el proyecto mañana. It's great that she wants to study with you. Es genial que quiera estudiar contigo. Es genial que quiera estudiar contigo. How about, I don't think that she's going to meet up with Pablo. No creo que vaya a quedar con Pablo. No creo que vaya a quedar con Pablo. How about, it's a shame she's not going to do something soon. How about, it's a shame that she doesn't want to speak Spanish with you. Es una pena que no quiera hablar español contigo. Es una pena que no quiera hablar español contigo. How about, I doubt that I can finish the project. And let's say, instead of soon, let's say so soon. So is tan, so soon, tan pronto. So I doubt that I can finish the project so soon, like that soon. What would that be? Dudo que pueda terminar el proyecto tan pronto. Dudo que pueda terminar el proyecto tan pronto. And that brings to an end this rather long video. As mentioned earlier, if you're looking to become a confident and a competent speaker of Spanish, then head over to prospanish.co.uk, where you can download the full Levels 1 to 6 course.